BJ, I'm curious, especially about Warren's performance. I know you've talked about wanting him to play kind of as a striker, and it looked like he started more out wide, but just covered tons of space and was kind of bouncing from side to side. What did you, I guess, want him to do from the start, and then what did you like about his performance?
Yeah, you're right. He did start on the left side for us. But we thought it was an opportunity for somebody to kind of have a starting position there, but then start to try and exploit the space, whether it was in the middle of the field coming down or looking to run behind. And so I thought, for the most part, he had a really effective game and was pretty hard to keep like tabs on. He was kind of all over the place in a good way. But yeah, and then you can see the sort of the impact that I think he was able to make in the time that he was given.
And then it looked like there were a lot of passages of play where you would kind of have a lot of short passing combinations on one side and then hit a quick switch. Is that something that you've particularly emphasized heading into this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, we're still a bit of a work in progress. But of course, we're looking to find ways that we can sort of exploit, where we can exploit one side and get to the other. And I think tonight we were able to do that in a couple good moments. But certainly we want to be balanced across the field.
Yeah. BJ, if you can, get that kind of production from Warren, or at least close to it, and you had, 3 goal contributions on his debut, I guess, how much does that raise the ceiling of this team in attack?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think consistently we're someone who is constantly searching to find goal scoring opportunities. That's kind of the foundation of what we look to do in our attack, and the more weapons you can deploy doing it, and I would say in different ways, is the biggest thing. And I think Warren has a pretty unique skill set that he can, run behind, he can come underneath, which then that only opens more space for other players, and vice versa. Some of the other guys have the ability to open space for each other. So we got to continue to keep a balanced attack, and kind of continue to exploit what the opponents give us.
Maxwell Walesi was making his first official appearance for you guys now after not playing against Hollywood. What were your impression of his performance?
Yeah, I think overall good. I think you saw the calmness on the ball, the maturity and the composure to sort of set the tempo in our build-up. But at the same time, when the opportunity arose, he was able to dribble, engage, sort of the opponent and sort of create some overloads for us that I thought were good. And, I think, the combination of him and Jason together show that they can kind of cover a lot of space on the field for us. Probably a little bit too often tonight, but, those are some areas that we need to continue to improve.
In the second half, they obviously started off with a goal. Did you notice anything different they did, or was it just pretty much just a chance that ended up coming in?
No, it started trending in the end of the first half. They started to overload the sides on us a little bit, and I mean, credit to them and credit to Marco. They made a lot of adjustments after the first 25 minutes, and yeah, we came out a little bit slow, and it was just. It ends up getting down to where there's just too many numbers on one side, and if you don't handle it well, they were able to kind of find across the middle of the field on us. But again, an area that we need to get better, and we need to improve with sort of some of that defending in low areas. But that's expected. We're still going to be a work in progress here.
Sam Sturridge gets a brace, Hani Mukhtar gets a goal, and the first couple of questions you get are about Warren Madrigal. I mean, are people just used to those two players performing at that level, and is that the expectation that you go into each game with?
I mean, I hope I never get used to it. And those guys are hungry. You saw the impact that they make. They make it on both sides of the ball. Even some of the dirty work that Sam's doing, trying to hold balls up and lay them off and those type of things. So, a really good performance. But at the same time, you see that, they're able to make an impact, but some of the other guys are able to open up the field as well.
BJ, sorry, but I want to go back to Warren. I mean, I saw him. The one thing I saw is that he was moving everywhere, right in the front. Was that by design, or just the way he plays that just does that during the whole game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of both. Like, yeah, I mean, as we sort of game plan for each opponent and try to do it, we give the players freedoms to try and find the spaces that might be able to exploit the weakness of an opponent. And I thought he did a really good job of that. And I think as these, attacking players continue to sort of work off each other, the unpredictable nature and like sort of their ability to interchange is going to be can be a great weapon or a great strength for us.
Now in Nashville, the work of guys like Dax and Jaspic is fundamental, even if we don't talk about him. And you said something the other day about good players playing better when they get together with better players. I thought I saw, what I saw, Jaspic play one of his best games in Nashville tonight. Do you agree?
I thought Patrick was outstanding tonight, and I think you saw a wide range of his skill set. He was dropping into the back line and kind of, helping us build. He's in between the lines, moving the ball from box to box, and then at some points he's running in the penalty box and past guys. So, I think sometimes guys get called box-to-box players, and I call him and Eddie end-line to end-line, and they're fundamental. I tell them all the time, they're the engine. They're the engine to our team, right? And they're the glue to the team of whether we're going forward or we have to go backwards. And I thought Patrick had a really strong performance tonight.
BJ, in the second half, there were moments where Espinoza was kind of creeping more centrally. Was that by design, just to give Sam a little bit more room outside to kind of cheat behind the back line there and just kind of preserve Espinoza's legs a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's the same it's along the same questionings of the Warren, right? For us, it's about how can we try and disorganize opponent's final line. That's how do you get to the goal? You have to be able to create space. And so if the space is in front and in the middle, then we want players to be in there. If the space is behind, then we want guys to go behind. And it's that, again, we have to continue to evolve and get better at this. But I think having the mobility and the interchange of that front group, we can kind of do both things.
And then with a 4-1 win tonight, with just a statement win, what kind of message does that send to the rest of the league from your perspective?
I don't care. For us, it's, we have to continue to, we're happy about the result. That's what we do. We play to win the game. We're happy that we won the game. There's areas that we need to get better at. We have essentially 2 more days to prepare, and then we've got a second leg versus Ottawa. And I can tell you right now that locker room is already switching their lens, and they'll be back in tomorrow.
Yeah. Did you expect the opportunities down the wings that the visitor provide, and the chances that Madrigal created? And this will be the 11 from CONCACAF.
I mean, I think when we analyzed, going into the game where opportunities were going to be, we weren't overly sure exactly where, right? It's the first game of the year, and everybody's playing preseason games, and so I think there was a lot of focus on ourselves, and a lot of focus on ourselves was, can we recognize areas on the field where there's opportunities and move and interchange to exploit those areas, and that's how we were going to evaluate the group, and I think they overall did a pretty good job. I'd love to answer your question, the second part, but unfortunately, I'm not going to give away any of what we're going to do on Tuesday night.